Today, I want to talk about one of the most important but least understood concepts in financial planning. That is longevity risk. When you think about planning for your retirement, you probably think about living as long as your parents did. And for most people, if you're like me, your parents will live to be in their 80s. And that seems fine. That seems not logical, normal. The thing is, FP Canada, the people who confer the CFP designation, which is to say the gold standard for financial planning in Canada, have now taken the position that it is actuarially prudent to plan to live to be 95 years old. Now, that might not be most of you. That might not even be more than a few of you. But that's considered to be what's actuarially prudent. And statistically, and especially if you're a person who invests, and maybe it's a white collar professional, your lifestyle is such that you'll likely have less stress, more sleep, better health, better food, better diet, better lifestyle, that you will live longer than you otherwise would compared to the general population. Of course, we've had lots of advances in medicine. We've had lots of other things that have improved as well. Most people, when you ask them to look at their retirement plan, will say, yeah, I'm fine. And if you ask them, a lot of what they assume is more or less reasonable, except that two things are oftentimes missed. One, the returns they're expecting are oftentimes too high, especially because many people fail to take into account the cost of advice and the cost of products and how that lowers their expected return over time. A balanced portfolio might actually be projected at something like 5 or at the most 5.5% when you're in your retirement. Most people are planning for a higher rate of return. But the second thing is most people expect to die when they're 85 or so. And a lot of people say, well, I've planned it out to age 85. I don't run out of money. I'm using a reasonable conservative assumption of return. I think I'm going to be fine. Many people seem to consistently, they think they're going to live forever when you ask them. But when you look at their retirement plans, they think they're going to conveniently die young so they can work backwards to make sure that they actually don't run out of money before they die. A great, huge, massive risk that people are taking all over the world, but especially in the Western world and especially in Canada, is that people are oftentimes living longer than they think. And as a result, run the risk of running out of money in their extreme autumn years. That's especially true if they have costs for healthcare or living in a home or something like that. But a lot of people materially underestimate how long they're going to live. It is one of the least understood and least recognized elements of financial planning in Canada. I urge you, if you have not looked at your plan recently, or if your plan and or even if you have looked at it recently and you know that you're planning to live until age 85, unless you have serious health issues in your family, you actually know that it's likely. I would argue that it's actually more likely that you will live to be much older than you think, and you should be planning accordingly. That usually means depleting your money a little less aggressively, and perhaps finding some products that are pensionable where you can actually have a guaranteed cash flow for as long as you live. There are products out there that do that. You can buy an annuity as well. But at any rate, consider taking your CPP later. But at any rate, you need to think very seriously about living a very long time and having the financial resources to sustain you while that happens. If you're worried about the current investment climate in your money, go to my website to book a call for personalized advice to assist you in feeling secure and protected about your retirement.